Welcome to Mind and Marvel, where we explore the breakthroughs that give people their lives back. And today's discovery, it's going to make you believe in the future. Every year, millions of people worldwide have strokes, and about half of them develop something called dysarthria, a condition where the physical connection between their brain and their mouth gets scrambled. Here's what makes dysarthria so heartbreaking. These people know exactly what they want to say. Their minds are completely clear. They can think, reason, and form coherent thoughts. But when they try to speak, the signals get lost in translation. The muscles in their face, mouth, and throat don't respond properly. The result? Slurred speech, speaking painfully slowly or producing short, choppy fragments instead of full sentences. Imagine trying to have a conversation with your family, but every word requires immense effort, and even then, people often can't understand you. The current solution is speech therapy, months or even years of repetitive drills, saying the same words over and over, trying to retrain those neural pathways. It helps, but there's a problem. Patients can often manage these controlled exercises, but the moment you ask them an open-ended question, or they need to express something spontaneously in everyday life, they struggle. The frustration is immense, but researchers at the University of Cambridge working with colleagues in China just published something extraordinary in the journal Nature Communications. They've created a device called Revoice, and it's unlike anything we've seen before. This isn't a brain implant requiring surgery. It's not clunky eye-tracking technology. It's a comfortable, washable, soft fabric choker that you wear around your neck, and it can translate silent mouth movements into natural speech with just a 1-second delay. Let's see how it works. So how does this seemingly magical device actually work? Let's break down the technology in a way that makes sense. The Revoice device contains two types of ultra-sensitive sensors embedded in the soft fabric. Think of it like a highly advanced fitness tracker, but instead of just counting steps, it's reading the subtle language of your body. The first set of sensors detects tiny vibrations from your throat muscles. When you mouth words, even silently, without making any sound, your throat muscles still move. They create microscopic vibrations, muscle contractions that are too subtle for most people to even feel. These sensors are so sensitive they can pick up these vibrations and distinguish between different movements. Think of it like reading Morse code, but instead of dots and dashes, it's reading the unique pattern of muscle movements that correspond to different words. The second set of sensors tracks your heart rate and pulse patterns. Now, you might be wondering, what does your heartbeat have to do with speech? Here's where it gets brilliant. Your emotional state affects your heart rate in predictable ways. When you're anxious, frustrated, or in pain, your pulse changes in specific patterns. When you're calm or content, it shows differently. The Revoice device uses these pulse signals as a window into your emotional state, a simplified but remarkably effective way to understand not just what you're trying to say, but how you're feeling when you say it. Now here's where the AI comes in. The device uses two artificial intelligence agents working together in real time. The first AI agent takes those throat vibration signals and decodes them into words. It's been trained on thousands of examples of how throat muscles move when forming different sounds, syllables, and words. It reconstructs your intended words from these tiny fragments of movement. The second AI agent is even more sophisticated. It's a large language model, similar to the technology behind ChatGPT, that analyzes your emotional state from your pulse, considers the time of day, potentially the weather, and other contextual information you can provide. Here's where it gets amazing. The user can choose by simply nodding their head twice to have the device expand their short, energy-saving phrases into complete, natural sentences. In the clinical trial, one participant silently mouthed just 3 words, "We go hospital." That's all they could manage. Short, fragmented, exhausting to produce. The device detected from their elevated heart rate that they were feeling frustrated or uncomfortable. The timestamp showed it was late at night, and the AI expanded those 3 words into, "Even though it's getting a bit late, I'm still feeling uncomfortable. Can we go to the hospital now?" Think about what this means. Instead of exhausting themselves trying to form a complete sentence, patients can conserve their energy by mouthing just a few key words, and the AI intelligently fills in the rest based on context and emotion. And it works. In trials with 5-stroke patients with dysarthria, the device achieved a word error rate of just 4.2% and a sentence error rate of only 2.9%. That's 96% word accuracy and 97% sentence accuracy using just a 47-word vocabulary of common phrases. Now, you might be thinking, don't we already have ways to help people who can't speak? And you're right, we do. But here's why Revoice is a game changer. Current assistive communication devices typically work one of three ways. The first method is letter-by-letter input. Imagine typing out every single word, one letter at a time, either by pointing or using eye movements. Want to say, "I'm hungry"? That's 9 individual selections. Want to have an actual conversation? It's painfully, agonizingly slow. The second method is eye-tracking technology. This can work better, but it requires you to maintain precise eye movements, often while staring at screens covered in symbols or words. It's tiring, it's limited to whatever words are programmed in, and it's not exactly portable or subtle. The third option is brain implants, surgically placing electrodes directly in your brain to read neural signals. Companies like Neuralink are working on this. And yes, it's impressive technology, but it requires surgery. It requires drilling into your skull, placing devices in your brain tissue, and living with permanent hardware in your head. Revoice requires none of that. No surgery, no drilling, no permanent implants. You put on a soft, comfortable choker in the morning, just like putting on a necklace, and take it off at night. It's washable. It runs on a battery that lasts all day. And most importantly, it works outside the hospital. Think about what this means for independence and dignity. Stroke survivors can wear this device at home, at family gatherings, at the grocery store, anywhere they need to communicate. They're not tethered to a computer. They're not limited to a clinical setting. And the speed? There's just a 1-second delay from mouthing words to the device producing speech. That's real-time conversation. You can actually have a back-and-forth dialogue that feels natural. Participants in the study reported a 55% increase in satisfaction compared to word-by-word communication. That's not just a marginal improvement, that's life-changing. As Professor Luigi Occhipinti from Cambridge's Department of Engineering, who led the research, said, "This is about giving people their independence back. Communication is fundamental to dignity and recovery." And he's absolutely right. When you can't express yourself, you lose a piece of your humanity. This device gives it back. Let's talk about the bigger picture, who this technology can help and where it's heading. Half of all stroke patients develop dysarthria. We're talking about millions of people every year worldwide who lose the ability to communicate clearly after a stroke. Many of them are relatively young, people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s who still have decades of life ahead of them. But here's what's even more exciting. Dysarthria isn't the only condition that affects speech in this way. People with Parkinson's disease often develop similar speech difficulties as the disease progresses. Patients with motor neuron disease, also called ALS, lose muscle control including speech muscles. The researchers explicitly mention that Revoice could potentially help all of these patients. We're talking about a single technology that could restore communication for people with completely different conditions, at different stages of life, with different needs. That's the beauty of targeting the fundamental problem. Muscle weakness affecting speech, rather than the specific disease causing it. So what's next? The researchers are currently planning a larger clinical study in Cambridge, specifically for native English-speaking dysarthria patients. They're hoping to launch this later in 2026, but the team isn't stopping there. They're already working on future versions with even more capabilities. Multilingual support is coming. Imagine the same device working seamlessly in English, Spanish, Mandarin, or any other language. They're expanding the range of emotional states the device can recognize and incorporate. Currently, it picks up basic states like frustration or calm from pulse patterns. Future versions might detect more nuanced emotions, sadness, excitement, urgency, making the communication even more expressive and natural, and they're working toward fully self-contained operation. Right now, the device needs to connect to a smartphone or small computer to run the AI processing. The goal is to have everything built into the choker itself, completely independent, no external devices needed. Think about what this means for someone who's lost their voice. Imagine being able to express complex thoughts, emotions, and needs with the same fluency you had before your stroke. Imagine having conversations with your grandchildren that feel natural. Imagine ordering coffee, making jokes, telling stories. The lead researcher said something powerful. Patients can generally perform the repetitive drills after some practice, but they often struggle with open-ended questions and everyday conversation. This device bridges that exact gap. I want to take a moment to talk about what this breakthrough really represents, because it's about more than just clever engineering and AI. When you have dysarthria, people sometimes make assumptions. They might think you have cognitive impairment because you can't speak clearly. They might talk over you, talk down to you, or talk about you as if you're not there, but your mind is completely intact. You're fully present, you just can't get the words out. As Professor Occhipinti explained, the signals between the brain and throat have been scrambled by the stroke, but the person knows exactly what they want to say. That's a special kind of frustration, being trapped inside your own body with a functioning mind, but a broken interface. Speech therapy helps many people recover much of their speech over months or years. But during that recovery period, which can feel eternal, what do you do? How do you maintain relationships? Participate in your own medical care, ask for what you need, maintain your dignity. That's where Revoice comes in. It's not meant to replace therapy, it's meant to complement it. It gives patients a voice during their recovery. And for those who may never fully recover their speech, it offers a permanent solution that doesn't require surgery. This is technology designed with deep empathy. Every feature, from the soft, comfortable fabric to the emotion detection, to the sentence expansion, was created by asking, what would make this person's life better? What would restore their dignity and independence? The researchers didn't just solve a technical problem, they solved a human problem. And that's what the best science does. Alright, let's bring it all together. Here's what makes Revoice revolutionary. 1. It's a non-invasive wearable device that detects silent speech through throat vibrations and reads emotions through pulse patterns. 2. Two AI systems work together. One decoding words, one expanding them into natural sentences based on context and emotion, achieving 97% sentence accuracy. 3. It provides real-time communication with just a 1-second delay, no surgery required, and it's portable enough for everyday life. And 4. It could help millions of people with dysarthria from strokes, Parkinson's, motor neuron disease, and other conditions regain their voice and independence. The practical takeaway: we're witnessing the convergence of wearable sensors, artificial intelligence, and human compassion to solve one of the most devastating consequences of stroke, the loss of voice. And this isn't science fiction set decades in the future. Clinical trials are launching this year. This technology could be helping people within the next few years. Here's what I want you to think about. How many other human problems could we solve by combining sensors that read our bodies, AI that understands context, and genuine empathy for what people actually need? If this breakthrough inspired you as much as it inspired me, show some love by hitting that like button and subscribing to Mind and Marvel for more innovations that restore hope and dignity. Ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. And I want to hear from you. Do you know someone who's experienced a stroke or lost the ability to communicate clearly? How do you think this technology would change their life? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have a conversation about what this means. Remember, the best technology isn't about making gadgets more powerful. It's about making people more powerful. It's about giving back what was lost, restoring connection, rebuilding dignity. Every person deserves to be heard. Every voice matters. And now, thanks to brilliant scientists who combine innovation with compassion, more people will have the chance to speak again. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and remember, the future of technology is human.